Hello, this is Dion. If this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. About 2 months ago, I posted a video with a challenge. If I reached 50 subscribers, I would post the full video of the time I was detained by agents at the port of Jacksonville in Jacksonville, Florida. Well, we hit that milestone, and I want to say thank you to everyone who helped make that happen. I truly appreciate your support, and I want you to know that I will never put my content behind a paid wall. I value the time you spend watching my videos and supporting my journey. So today, I'm finally sharing the full story. Just for some background and context, I arrived in Jacksonville on May 2nd, 2025, the day before my Carnival cruise to the Bahamas, which departed on May 3rd. I had just received a brand new body camera and I planned to use it to document the process of driving from the hotel to the port, dropping off my bags, parking, and checking in. I was staying at the Home to Suites airport location, and this was my first time ever wearing a body camera. And honestly, I forgot I still had it on. So, what went wrong? I entered the terminal and didn't realize I was still wearing the camera until I reached the screening area. Once it was brought to my attention, I immediately complied with the agent's request to stop filming. Well, what I thought was filming anyway. But instead of ending there, it turned into a much bigger ordeal. The video you're about to see was obtained through a public records request. It's long, so I'll be speeding through most of it, pausing when there are important details to point out. Let's get started. Here you'll see me pulling up to the screening line, and I'll start placing my items on the belt and into the bin. Later, I removed my lanyard. It's the one that I use for my sell and sign card. You'll notice an agent walking past me. He may not have fully noticed me, but my body cam was clipped to my upper right pocket. Over to the right, you'll see that an agent and I almost basically came face to face, but no one said anything about the body camera. I walked through the metal detector, which you will see that I set it off. And then the agent asks if I'm recording. That's the moment it hits me. I realize that the camera is still attached, and I tell him yes. He informs me that filming is not allowed, and I immediately remove the camera and started turning it off. But then he points towards the door and accuses me of putting the camera on after entering the terminal. I explained to him, no, sir, I've had this on since I parked my car. Looking back, hindsight being 2020, I can understand why he thought that. I had already interacted with 3 agents before entering the terminal, and none of them said, ma'am, just to let you know, filming isn't allowed in here. So he places my documents and my camera into a bowl, and he sends me back through the detector. I'm nodding because he's telling me that I will have to delete the footage. So I come back through, and as you can see, still nodding, still agreeing. At this point, he's telling me that I cannot leave until I delete the footage of anything after I stepped through the doors. Again, totally nodding. Yes, I would delete it, no problem. But he didn't automatically give me my belongings back right away. He tells the screener that I was filming. He tells another agent that I was filming. Then he calls another agent over so that they can oversee the deletion of the footage. Now, this agent that I was handed off to was very kind. I explained to her that I was just filming because I'm documenting my cruise process, and I completely forgot that I had the camera on. We stood there together at the table, going through the menu, punching buttons, trying to find and locate the footage. At this point, I'm sweating profusely. I had to ask for paper towels, and yes, I ended up taking more than what I actually needed. But as you can see at this particular point, she's looking over at him because during this time, he's screaming over, "Did she delete it? Is it gone? Did she delete it?" And she's letting him know that we're still working on it. So I grabbed some paper towels, and at this point, I'm really thinking that I might be going to jail for filming in a restricted area, and I was very nervous. So I explained to her that the reset button, I was looking for a pin that I could stick in the little buttonhole so that I could reset the whole device. But she stopped me. She told me that she did not want me to lose all my footage, but I told her that that was fine because I didn't need it that badly. So instead, she grabs a little piece of paper and she uses my boarding pass to write down my name, and she also gathered my contact information. She also told me that if anything came from the footage that I had, that they would contact me. Now, I fully understand why they don't want people recording in the terminal. Some people do have bad intentions. What I didn't understand was why the original agent continued to act like a rabid dog with a bone, repeatedly shouting things like, "Did she delete it? Is it gone yet? Did she delete it?" He told anyone who would listen what had happened and about what I had done. And as you can see from the footage, he was far from where we were standing, but was constantly bringing attention, unnecessary attention, in my opinion, to the situation. Even as I was being cleared to leave, he asked again if it had been deleted. She explained that we couldn't find the footage, but that she did have my information if needed. I walked away feeling embarrassed, defeated, but also fully aware of my responsibility in the situation. What I found later, once I got settled in my room and connected to the internet, I decided to look up whether any videos existed of the Jacksonville port interior. And sure enough, I found several. One in particular was by Mick, the cruise line tip giving suit guy, who openly filmed inside the terminal. He even stated that he got shouted at, but it doesn't appear that he was detained or asked to delete his footage. And if he was asked, he clearly didn't delete it because the video is still up. I don't know if the authorities ever followed up with him, but I personally have no intention of posting even the few seconds that I did capture. Here's the funny part. Once I finally found out how to access the body cam footage, I realized that I never filmed the terminal at all. The camera was set to factory default, which powers it off after 10 minutes. So all that footage I thought existed, it didn't. However, when I thought I was powering the device down, I actually powered it back on, and it captured a brief snippet of the conversation, specifically when the agent accused me of putting the camera on after entering the terminal. And that just wasn't true. I'm not emotionally scarred by this experience, but I did have 2 cruises scheduled for 2026 departing out of Jacksonville, and I canceled both that same day. And I do have receipts showing my email cancellation requests. I had a spring cruise booked with NCL in a solo cabin, which I was so excited about, but I did receive my deposit back on that one. I also had a carnival cruise scheduled for October 2026 for my birthday, but I did not receive a refund for that deposit. I've cruised through Jacksonville twice before without issue, but I know I can cruise out of Port Canaveral, Fort Lauderdale, or Miami instead. So it's really no skin off my back if I never cruise out of Jacksonville again. And truthfully, once Charleston, South Carolina opens their new port, I don't care if it's Ray Ray's tugboat dinner cruise to nowhere, that will become my new favorite cruise line. So, again, I take full responsibility for my part in what happened, but I also believe that once someone is in compliance, it's okay for authorities to back off and allow them to correct the situation without unnecessary escalation. Do you agree or disagree? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, or turn on alerts if you enjoy my content. And as always, travel safe.